Welcome back, Raider Nation, to Raider Personnel, your host, Raider Mack and Raider Ken.
Raiders. In your line, in your safeties, in your linebackers. On
Yeah,
your
this week
TV,
we
Raiders.
are talking about the O-line and wide receivers. These
Ooh.
guys in mini camp out here doing
Big
what they need to
boys.
do. The guys are standing out. The rookies we drafted, Caleb Rogers right now, man. I'm thinking he's a little impressive. And looking into him a little deeper as the last couple months since he's been drafted. And,
Mm-hmm.
from what you're hearing and what you're seeing at the latest, that he's a great leadership. And then not only
Oh, yeah.
that, JPJ, can't be go mad with
Mm-hmm.
JPJ, right? But who's going to be our
Number one
guard?
center.
Who's going to be our guard? That is the question out of the O-line. And for wide receivers, well, you already know, man. This is just a competition and seeing who's showing up. Jack Beck, Thornton, and our guy, Mayers. What are your thoughts,
We
man?
know who's
Kenny.
number one.
There you go.
Well, let's
Exactly.
start with the guards. Let's start with the big boys.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of everything. We have some young guys and we have some experienced vets. Parham and Kappa, they're experienced guys. Even though Parham is only 4 years, Kappa's
Yep.
8. Came from the Bengals. He's more going to be a veteran presence. He didn't do so well with the Bengals, but then again, the Bengals never had ever a good O line, so that could be like a coaching thing.
Yeah.
And they don't have a Colton Miller or a JPJ to
Right.
set things off. So those are their veteran guys, and then we have Jordan Meredith, only 3 years in the league, and Caleb Rogers, rookie. But like you said, Rogers, a lot of good things I've heard from camp. A lot of like leadership things. So which is good when you have
Yeah.
like the number one center, a really good tackle, and you have a very good leader as a guard.
Yeah.
That would be pretty amazing. He's super athletic. He's just, a lot of people were down on him saying we reached, and now it's like it's been
Yeah.
turning people's head, you know. So that's pretty exciting. I believe, if Caleb Rogers still keeps doing what he's doing, I see him as being our left guard. So right between
I see.
JPJ and Colton Miller. So he's got help, so the rookie doesn't have everything on his plate.
Yeah.
And then I think Jordan Meredith. I think Meredith is going to pass Dylan Parham. I think Meredith's going to be our other guy.
Yeah.
We can always go after the tackles too. Glaze is there in case, like, what's it? I forgot our other tackle rookie's name, Charles Rogers, I think it was. If he comes in and he's killing it as a
Yeah.
tackle, then I see Charles Grant. If he's
Yeah.
killing
There
it
you
as
go.
a right tackle, then Glaze put him in as a right guard. He's not a rookie. He has the experience. It's going to be on the same side. There's also that option. But for me, guard Meredith and Caleb Rogers if he continues on the same trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Mm.
so the guy,
Mm.
looking into him, the combine, he ran, the offensive lineman's 20-yard shuttle at 4
Mm.
minutes and 49 seconds. So that's not bad. And that tells me he's
Quick feet.
athletic. Exactly.
Mm.
And I don't,
Mm.
there was not a lot of noise going into his draft, his pick and all
Yeah.
that. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
If he comes out on top, if he does what he does well, I think he'll start. Because I mean, really,
Yeah.
there's no other choice. If you really
Pretty
think
much,
about it.
pretty much, yeah. And I keep hearing, like guard is the easiest position on the O line to play. It's well,
Yeah,
not I don't want to say the easiest, but it's the easiest to be good at. You can
I
find a
see.
lot of good
To
guards.
improve it,
It's
yeah,
it's hard to find really, really good guards, but there's a
yeah.
lot of good guards out there.
Well, and like you
It's
said, you
yeah,
put JPJ and then you put Colton Miller, beside him.
yeah,
There's a chance of improvement there as well, right? Because I mean, Miller
yeah.
was well,
Colton Miller.
yeah.
Hmm.
The one who didn't, Dylan Parham, right? I mean, Dylan
Yeah,
Parham sucked last year. I didn't feel
yeah,
like he got ran over so many times
yeah.
and let the
He
quarterback get
started
sacked.
off
So
good. He
yeah,
started off good. I was like, okay, we got our guy. We got our guy. I think it was like 1 or 2 games. He was like really doing it. And
yeah,
after that, he just fell off and he was allowing sacks. He was getting beaten, or when he didn't allow the sacks, he allowed
yeah.
the pressure. So that's why I think he's better as a swing tackle or swing guard, backup guard. Whenever we
Right.
go the 12, the goal line to goal line, we have him in there because he could do that. So that's where I see him really going on.
Right,
But
right, right, right.
yeah.
Yep. Well, this is also Colton Miller's last year, right? So he could
For
probably
right
apply for
now,
an extension. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
depending what happens with DJ Glaze and
Yeah.
Charles Grant, if Charles Grant, because a lot of people thought Charles Grant would be a left tackle. So if they turn out really good, Grant can play left tackle, Glaze can stay at right, or flip and vice versa.
Yeah.
So and if Jacoby Myers is coming up too, you know what I'm saying. So if we have the left tackle or a really good one, it's not like Cole Miller's like a top three left
Yeah.
tackle. Then I would
Yeah.
like pay the man. You got to do that.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
if you could find a really good above replacement players and then keep Jacoby, I think that's it would make sense. Because I think Jacoby has one more year and he wants to
Right.
stay. You
Yeah.
can
That's
tell
what
he
he's
wants to
mentioned. Yeah.
stay.
That's what
Hmm
he said.
So,
That's what he says. He wants to stay. And I
hmm
mean, for the unspoken, leader, I guess you could say. I mean, the
yeah.
guy's a silent
Oh
leader, is what
yeah.
he is. And, he
Yeah,
leads by
man.
action, right? So, I mean,
Example. Yeah. Yeah.
so
hmm
exactly. Leads
I'm
by
happy for
example.
him, bro. I
Yeah,
think we were blessed with Jacoby.
for
Like
sure.
zero drops, zero drops.
1,000 yards last year, 1,020 some yards. And,
Zero
this is his
drops.
first time,
Yeah,
but then again, this is the first time starting, right? Like, this is his first
yeah,
year full on starting to be
yep.
the
Full
number
on
one
starter. Yeah,
receiver after
with
4 games.
inconsistent quarterback. With
Exactly.
inconsistent quarterback,
Good
and
point.
with Brock Bowers there eating it up, nom, nom, nom,
Eating
nom,
it
nom,
up,
eating those
breaking
catches and
records. Yeah.
yards.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he
So
mattered,
yeah.
man. He makes a difference, and I'm
hmm
pretty sure he's still gonna do
Yeah.
the same. Even
Veteran
though
man.
you got the two
Yeah.
rookies that are looking also pretty goddamn well. Thornton, man, with his
Thornton
comments,
man.
I was like, yo, he aspires to be like Calvin Johnson, Nico
Megatron.
Collins. These guys are go up there and grab the ball. Exactly.
Yeah.
These guys go up
Yeah.
there
I
and
mean,
reach for the ball and take it away.
yep. And crazy speed. What's his name? I can't remember if it was Chip or Jacoby. They were talking about like he's not just a runner. This guy
Mm-hmm.
is an actual football player. He
Yep.
runs route. He asks questions. Like
Yep.
he's looking for the ball. He's just not
430
a
on the
one
40
trick
yard
pony.
dash. So yeah.
hmm So yeah, if that man can get some nice route running skills, that would be scary because
Yep.
if he's running a certain route and you think you got him, you're gonna have to keep up with him. And if he
Right.
does a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
whoo, yeah,
You give him any open space, that's it. He's gone.
hmm
So
he's
you
gone.
definitely don't want to get behind this guy or anywhere,
Oh, burner,
just any kind of
burner.
space at all. And then on top
Yeah,
of that, he can fight you for the ball at midair too. So
yeah.
that's
Six
his way of
five,
playing.
man.
Yeah.
6'5". Yep, and he's 205. He's not like 189, 190. He's
Yeah.
205. He could
Yeah.
definitely
He's
put
a
more
big dude.
muscle. Come in at
Yeah.
207, 208. Yeah, we got a man. We got a receiver after that, man. So, and
Yeah.
we need
No,
somebody like
definitely.
everybody else is like 6'1" and under. I think there's only like one more receiver that's like 6'6", but he's more of like position and depth. So he probably will,
I
probably
see.
a cut candidate and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So we need him a lot. And the Jack Besh, 6'1", Trey Tucker 5'9", Jacoby 6'2". So having that 6'5" guy out there,
Where
that
does
that
this
really
leave
helps.
our guy Trey Tucker though? What do you think?
That's what's tough, man. Because for me, it's like I always thought Jacoby, Trey Tucker, 1-2. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Jacoby, the possession receiver, Tucker, the after catch, the balls after catch. But if we're trying to run like with Genty,
Yeah. Right.
you gotta have what I've been hearing about Besh is great blocker. Or you could start off with three receiver sets, but then again, you're taking out Brock. I mean, that don't
Yeah.
make sense.
Well, I mean,
On the slot.
if you're gonna run the ball, then you become predictable if you start doing that, taking out. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to mix and match the players, right? Personnel,
Right. Well,
and
I was talking
then
about three receivers. So
yeah,
Tucker,
like a
Jacoby, Besh on the slot, and then
yeah.
Browers as a tight end, and then with the single back. So right there, we can go. We can
Okay.
run, or we can pass. We can play action. So that's
Yeah.
when I see that. We'll probably use a lot more of that because you don't want Tucker blocking 5'9", 185. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And Besh is what
Right.
6'1" and 215. Like,
Yeah.
definitely Heinz Words vibes is what I get out of him. So
Yeah.
yeah, and if we can block, bro, because they're not going to have the best corner on him. You're going to put your best corner on Jacoby or Brock.
Right.
So if Besh is going against their second guy, who's probably not their strongest, he can really, really put some
Yeah, he
damage.
could make a
So
difference. He can get some yardage.
yeah,
That is for sure. Because I mean,
exactly.
like I said, when the guy was drafted, it was him. It was what was our guy? McMillan,
Um,
Tet,
hmm
and then
Ted
Hayden,
McMillan. Yep,
uh,
Jaden Hayden.
Jaden
Yeah,
Hayden or
that's
something
the
like
one, that
that.
guy I wanted. Yeah,
One of those guys, and then of course Jack Bech, and these guys were all had the same similar profile, similar scouting reports,
yeah.
where they're a muscle for the ball. These are end zone guys, who would
Hmm.
fight for the ball in the end zone and come up with it. Mike
Yeah.
Evan vibes, right? I guess you could say,
Yeah, exactly.
something
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
what I like
that's
about it too is like they weren't just like receivers. They were actually like at the top of their game of something. Thornton being the fastest receiver,
right,
Bech being the
right,
number one blocking, wide receiver. Like
yeah,
these guys were like really good at something,
yeah,
and something that you can't teach. You can't teach speed. You
right,
can't teach the will to block on offense instead of looking for the
right,
ball. So
right,
you can't teach that, and they're coming in with it. You can teach them all the other stuff. You can teach them how to run routes. You can teach them how to reach for the ball and stuff like that. Techniques is nothing.
right.
That what they have already in them is it's gonna make a difference, man. So
Yeah, no, and for sure, Jack Bech has that that personal motivation, right? Where
yeah, he's a
he lost his
dog.
brother, and
Mm-hmm.
he has that spirit with him. So, and that
Mm-hmm.
speaks because it's another level of adrenaline.
Determination, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
determination. Exactly, good word. And
yeah,
yeah, so that for sure. Hopefully, it shines on this kid, man, and they
yeah,
get to do something because, yeah, his college performance. I mean, even his rookie year in LSU,
yeah.
he was leading in receptions ahead of guys like Malik Neighbors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Panthers
Yeah,
receiver
he's raw.
Brian Thomas Jr. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he's raw
Brian
too.
Thomas Jr. Another
Yeah,
killing. Yeah, he's
yeah.
killing it too.
He's
Yep.
he's in
Mm-hmm.
his rookie year in college at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he started off with LSU, then went to TCU.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? So that Jack Bech, bro. I give him nothing but props, and I was excited when they
Oh
drafted him in
yeah.
the second. I was shocked that it was the
Yeah.
second round, but
You were for sure. Yeah,
yeah, but
you
I was
were for
excited.
sure because you had him in almost all your mock
Yeah,
drafts.
because I mean, they had the same.
Yeah.
That's the kind of receiver I think we need, right? Is someone who in
Yeah.
the end zone is gonna. That's always been our problem. We can't score. We can't score. We're in the
Yeah.
red zone.
End
We're in
zone.
5 yards. We can't score. We
Yep.
decide to run it
Always the
in.
bottom five.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
gets stopped on the
And
second
then we couldn't
yard.
even run. We couldn't do shit.
Couldn't do a fucking thing. Huh?
It was either field goal or interception. That's
Yeah.
it.
Anyways, did you see the coach jumping on top of players?
Oh yeah, he did a little frog splash on it.
Dude,
I'm
wrestling
like,
him,
man,
pitting
Pete.
him. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, Pete, you're gonna lose your hip, bro. It's like we need you in the sideline. We can't have you,
Yeah, but damn, at 70 something, man, that guy's for sure
bro.
athletic. He's like in great shape.
Every interview with every single player, they're just like Elandon Roberts. He was like,
Yeah.
I can never complain about being tired because Pete's out here, 73-year-old, running around, throwing the ball around,
Yeah.
full of energy.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I'm here young and and I can still do this. I can still do this. So yeah, everybody just raised. Jacoby was like, I got to see what he's on. He's like, he's on something. No way. He's the same all day. I'm just like, man, that's what we needed, bro. So,
Yeah.
and I like how they're being more professional because everybody's asking the same thing. Like, oh, how's it different from last year? Where's a different vibe coming in?
Right.
And everybody's saying the same thing. It's like, man, every year is different. You get new players, you get new coaches. It's never the same. And if
Yeah.
it's everything's the same, then you did something wrong.
Yeah.
The league grows. It's a learning league. So and it
Well,
was from
I
Patrick
like what
Graham to the
yeah.
players.
Yeah. I like
So
what Patrick
yeah,
said. I like what Patrick said
yeah,
this week, which is what he was like, I can't say that from year to year is different, but this for sure,
yeah.
this group of guys are getting along. Everybody's having fun. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's just,
Mm-hmm.
the news reports are different, man. It's not about,
Yeah.
drama or the coach
Right.
is
Rah rah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
It's
I
literally
like
come
how
in
it's
and
going.
work. Yeah. And that's the thing is like we're never used to like having a coach like that or
Yeah,
a organization built like with Spytech and Tom Brady and Pete Carroll.
yeah,
So it's pretty cool. Last time we had a legendary coach like that like actually knew stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you don't count Gruden, I would say Madden. That was
yeah.
the last time we literally had like a legendary coach or like a actual A+ program.
Right, right,
10
right. Like
years
just
with the
things
Raiders,
working.
never a losing season.
Yeah.
Build a culture. So,
I
and
mear Jack Del
that's
Rio.
as
You
you
can
heard
give
a lot
Jack
of
Del
that
Rio
too.
his credit for the 3 years that he was there, but unfortunately, I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, it's just the last year, it's just what killed it for him. But yeah, I was a big fan of Jack Del Rio. I don't know what in the end what happened, like why everything fell apart, but I mean it's probably the same reason like last year, quarterback. So
Yeah,
car. But yeah, I'm excited for this year. It's everybody looks excited. Crosby looks excited. People that are getting paid. What I'm hearing from the rookies, what I'm hearing from the vets, is like you can tell as a fan from afar that it's different. It's super different. I can see us beating the Chiefs, and we're not out there like running laps around the stadium. We just do the business, get in the car, the
right.
bus, go home. Like yeah, it's just another game. Next week is next game. So yeah, a lot more discipline, man. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see Geno Smith. OTAs, all you keep hearing is like the offense looks dangerous. Geno Smith looking smart. Chip
Genos.
Kelly's like
Yeah,
got some
yeah,
program built for Geno.
right.
So like, don't tease me.
And then of course you can't say that Genty's not going to matter. We don't mention him
Right.
because we know what he's capable of.
We're kind of expecting it. Yeah. We're kind of like
I
yeah,
mean,
because
can he be a bust? I don't think so because a running back,
that
you know what I
work
mean.
ethic.
Unless you end up like Samir White,
Right.
but
But
Samir
even
White was like
Zamir
what,
White
fifth
didn't
round,
come in.
sixth round?
Yeah, exactly,
Oh, something
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, not built like him, not built like the way he
Yeah,
is, because he's phenomenal, man.
yeah,
There's no running backs built like him. So yeah, like I said, there's no way. And our two biggest weakness on offense was quarterback and running back, and we literally upgrade them like heavily.
exactly.
Like we went from like with bottom three or to say just to be safe, bottom five in quarterback to at least top 10. At
Yeah,
least. And then running back from the bottom two to we might be number one, two, or three,
right,
but
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We
No,
still
I
got
mean
Mozart.
that's. I think for sure we have a chance, man. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
of definitely ranking up a lot higher than we for sure did last year. And it's not
Oh
so
yeah.
much that the offense was missing that much, like that we have to go and
Mm-hmm.
revamp everything. The O line was on
Exactly.
its way. The quarterback completely
Mm-hmm.
sucked. The running back game sucked. And then wide
Yep.
receivers, we had some. We had Jacoby. We
We had
had,
some
you know
solid
what I mean.
ones.
So
Yeah. Trey
yeah, so
Tucker. Yeah.
Trey Tucker, yep. And now we've improved on that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for sure, man. And then of course, we mentioned these guards and tackles, of course, DJ Glaze, and then we know that DJ Glaze moved up and down the offensive line
Yeah.
last year. He also
Yep.
played guard and tackle,
Mm-hmm.
and we forgot Mayor Munford,
Oh yeah, Mumford. Yeah, Mumford and Friends. Yeah.
the old TV show Munford and Friends.
Yeah, Mumford and Friends.
But yeah, we forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
So now,
A lot of
for
swing
sure, there's
tackles,
definitely
man.
even a more of an up because Munford played his
Yeah.
game last year.
He does, and those guys are good for like coming in for like little moments to give breathers, or when we got to do the goal line,
Yeah,
and then we need swing tackles and guards like that. And they have a position in our
yeah,
line, so yeah. And then JPJ down the middle, yeah. I'm excited. All around, I feel like we improved everywhere.
exactly.
Corner's the only one, and linebackers like wait and see approach. And so we'll see how Jeremy Chin is. Jeremy Chin, same thing. I've just been hearing a lot of great things.
Oh,
So that's
he's
pretty
injured.
cool.
He's injured out though.
He got injured?
Yeah, he's on the injury report. So yeah, Jeremy
Give the
Chin,
man a
him,
break.
and I forgot. Well, they didn't disclose what the injury was though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully he's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully it's nothing because that would
Yeah.
suck.
That would suck because he's supposed to be a big part. He's supposed to be what's his name replacement. So
Yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
supposed. So.
Yep.
Raiders.
Raider personnel.
Can't wait for
and
the season.
subscribe, everybody.